Just when we were pumping up the Western Bulldogs as premiership favourites, along come Hawthorn and say, just hold on.
They did, and there's been a fair bit made of Hawthorn's midfield. There's been a fair bit of commentary around it, but I thought they were incredibly dominant. You got Reeves in the ruck, Meek in the ruck, who gave him first use. They were unbelievable.
Do they take that combo in every game this year, Rory, or is it horses for courses?
No, off the back of this, they completely outscored Western Bulldogs. Their forward 50 stuff we'll touch on a bit later, but they kicked 6 goals from forward 50 stoppages, and they were completely dominant. I think they had a record almost of hit-outs to advantage.
Lost without Tim English, weren't they? Absolutely lost. So they've lost him for 3 weeks, and it changed the whole game. Let's be honest. If Tim English was there, it would have been a much, much different game. But they had a first game at Brownie.
I wasn't convinced how they used the first gamer. So Lewis Emmett comes in. There's only 3 hit-outs to advantage for the Western Bulldogs, but he didn't start in the centre of the ground. So Rory Lobb came in, and then Rory Lobb would go back, and then they weren't identifying themselves as the ruckman. There were a couple of free kicks picked out. I just thought it was too much for a first gamer to run that and not be in the ruck and then go in. It looked like a mess, and the person that benefited from that was John Newcombe, who had 14 14 clearances, which is a career high for him, and he was just brilliant. He was tough inside. Like, he got a lot of ball where, like that, he burst through tackles and then got it out on the other side. Very easy to get a handball underneath the pack and spit it out, but he was the one that was getting it and then making it onto the outside. So this was a brilliant game by John Newcombe.
Yeah, Meek and Reeves are so fit. Like, they are so fit. They're rock hard.
Big too,
I know. It's a real weapon. 5 men on the bench now. It's becoming a real weapon for Sam Mitchell with those two. Barras and Battle, they continue to form. Is it the best 1-2 punch in the competition with how they work together? Battle took down Norton. I just thought some of his one-on-ones was sensational. Barras ran Darcy under the ball.
He had to come back after quarter time, though. I thought Darcy outpointed him early, but he really dug in after quarter time and was very good.
It's rare you go a whole game without a contested mark, and they kept the Dogs to 0 contested marks, especially with those big boys up front. That's a huge effort from those two.
And Damo, the night only got dirtier for the Western Bulldogs.
Well, it did, TJ. And you're referring to the latest injury of Ed Richards, who sustained an ankle injury, and one that we don't yet know as we talk on this Sunday morning as to how serious it is going to be. So that's the incident there, and Rory, I'll get you to talk to it in a moment. He obviously went into the game, TJ, having miraculously, to use his coach Luke Beveridge's words during the week, recovered from an incident on his knee the previous week, which saw him a late withdrawal in a game against Essendon. So you can see the drama around this moment and the fact that they did speak post-match that it is an ankle issue. We just don't know what it is at this stage.
Well, for me, like, that mechanism's familiar, and I've done one in the past. It's syndesmosis, and it's where you roll over the front of your ankle, and it gets that ligament in between your bones. So I don't know exactly what it is, but if it is that's normally a 6 to 8, but if surgery, 10-week injury.
And they had their first loss of the season last night, and their next 3 matches now pose as problems without Tim English, as Lordo's already alluded to, and the unknown around Ed Richards. They're matches on paper that are going to present as genuine problems for them. Geelong, Sydney and the Dockers. They've all got premiership aspirations in 2026.
Well, nothing rank about Hawthorn because they're ranking right up there in terms of their premiership credentials, and they did that no harm at all last night.
Oh, they were so sharp, TJ. As we touched on earlier, it was just they were flogged through the middle of the ground. They'd seemed to lose confidence throughout that. Their defence was caught short. We'll talk about Buku Karmas across probably the next day or two in his positioning on Jack Gunston. But Lewis was huge, Gunston massive, Moore. The list goes on, and Jack Ginnivan was superb as well. Not too many winners, I would say, for the Western Bulldogs.
The game was won and lost in Hawthorn's 50 arc, and they kicked 6 goals from stoppage, which, look, it's unheard of. And that man, Nick Watson, was a big part of it. Only had the 12 disposals, only kicked the 1 goal, but what he did during this period was brilliant. And the Western Bulldogs, the defence, it was like last year's defence. They were caught napping on multiple occasions, but 6 goals from stoppage is huge, and that's the game. That is the game in a nutshell. The Bulldogs don't allow those goals. They're a little bit close, a little bit tighter. They put pressure on Hawthorn, but it's unheard of, 6 goals from stoppage inside the forward 50.
The Collingwood list is in trouble. Like, you look at the list, where's their best young players coming from? And when they let go Jack Ginnivan, I didn't think it was a big concern. Jack Ginnivan, I just thought he was a bit part player where he'll bob up and he'll kick a few nice goals. I always liked his skills, but I didn't think he had the ability to do this. He's got that fit at Hawthorn. 28 disposals. He's transformed himself. He can be a wingman. He can be a high half forward. He can go anywhere.
When you see him play, Lloyd, he's got the footy smarts, doesn't he?
Real high footy IQ.
And that's what allows him to play higher up the ground.
Yeah.
You do need smarts to play that wingman high half forward.
And he doesn't waste a disposal. He's just so clean. He rarely wastes it, and then he can go forward and kick goals. So it's been a massive loss in the end for Collingwood, and the way Hawthorn, he's pulled his head in. He knows when to have fun. He knows when not to, where he probably got that wrong at Collingwood. So he's been a great pickup.
Well, he's part of a forward line that's probably the best in the competition and functioning so well at the moment with Gunston, you got Ginnivan, you got Moore, Watson, McDonald. Yeah, these guys are absolute stars. But one like Mitch Lewis is now in ripping form as well. And his game last night, a couple of contested marks, kicked 3 goals too. But they've got so many different options now, so many avenues towards goal. And this is an elite finish in pretty tricky conditions at Adelaide Oval last night. But
covered a lot of ground, Mitch Lewis, last night.
Yeah, he did. And that's what I think Hawthorn do really well. They cover a lot of ground. But you mentioned how fit they are before. As a forward line, they can reset really hard and outwork their opponents. But it's their ball use. And again, we mentioned this in our pre-meeting, their ability to shift the angles of the ball and then be able to play into these guys' hands and be able to hit them on a lead-up is the best in the competition.
It's great to see him back from really serious injury multiple times in his short time in the game, Mitch Lewis. One forward who's going to be missing for some time, though, from the Hawks, Rory, is going to be Marby or Chol after soft tissue damage here. He's basically ripped a hamstring in this passage of play. It happened early in the game and not seen, and they managed to work around that last night without him because he has been so important to them, hasn't he, Lloyd, now for some time with that way he mans up and takes often the best defender out of the opposition. So without him for a couple of weeks, Kalshadiers may come back into calculations, but it is a setback.
Yeah, massive setback, and Kalshadier, it's great. The fight for spots is massive at Hawthorn, so if Kalsh's in good VFL form, he's a fair replacement. My votes from the game, so many high-quality players. John Newcombe was dominant, as Browning touched on, with the record clearances. Ginnivan, superb. Battle won all these battles in defence, and Mitch Lewis, 10 marks. He's a powerhouse.